Hello everyone, my name is Joyce out of Anojo. Welcome back to my channel. It is about 9:15 a.m. and it's really hot outside. But I came outside to get the good lighting, show off the new fits, so I can talk about something that I said I really did want to talk about and that's relatively important to me. And I think a lot of people can identify with, which is insecurity in a new environment. I think that topic is relatively important because we all go through it at some point. We're all somewhere that we've never been before, and we're thinking, wow, I really have to adapt to something completely different. I think like it starts like, when you go to kindergarten and they're like hiding behind your mom's leg or your dad's leg, and you're like, wow, like these kids don't know me. This is literally your first time at school, unless you did pre-K, because I did pre-K, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. And it gets worse as you get older, unfortunately. At least that's from what I've seen, because if you learn new things, the other people around you either know just as much as you, or sometimes less than you, or more than you, and it seems pretty intimidating. And that's exactly what I went through. So I'm going to start with like a little bit of a personal story, and then I'm going to delve into like certain particular topics. Story time. Sorry, unfortunately it's not going to be super funny, but when I got to college, I was in a relationship, and 2 weeks into school I got broken up with, and that took a real shot at my self-esteem, and I felt very alone, especially since none of my old friends were there with me, and I had to adapt and I had to make new friends, and my new friends had to get accustomed to me. And I just felt like I had to seclude myself, or I had to cover it up when I was out, that I was actually okay. Sometimes it worked and oftentimes it didn't. But I didn't want to let anybody in and tell them what was wrong with me, which was the completely wrong thing to do. I was starting to lose faith in myself, and I was starting to have a lot of doubt. And when I feel that way, when I feel very insecure, I tend to not share, and that is my personal pitfall. Like, I am very closed. I don't like when people know what's going on with me. And what I should have done was reach out and tell people, hey, this is what's going on with me. So if I'm off, I'm sorry. And I did do that, but not as much as I really should have. And it kind of bothers me to this day, because I really could have gotten a lot more help if I had just opened up to the people around me, opened up my mouth a little bit more, and stopped thinking people were going to judge me because my really short-lived relationship ended really soon when the feelings were still valid. That's the really first like bit of insecurity that really hit me in this new phase of college life. And it was particularly difficult just because like my mom wasn't there, so I had to talk to her on the phone. And usually like when something goes wrong, like my parents are here for me and I can tell them what happened. But this time it was it was really just random, and I had to adjust and I had to adapt, and gratefully I did so, all by the grace of God. But that doesn't mean that I struggled in other ways. I think something that's particularly identifiable, which is like the first thing I want to talk about, is like image, body image. And for me personally, I'm going to tell my personal story. This isn't like the same for everybody, or every skinny girl out there, or any body shape out there, the particular storyline anyways. But when I got to college, I'm going to keep saying when I got to college because it's a brand new phase of life. But when I got to school, my body started changing, like in the most, like, it was very random. Like, obviously I'm in school, like I'm eating more. I used to play basketball in high school, so like from like October to like March I'd be fit, like my body would get its conditioning that it needs. I'm not doing that anymore. So I started gaining more weight. My body started like filling up in certain places, and it made me feel like kind of weird and kind of like not bad, but a twinge of embarrassed and a little bit of shame. Me personally, I was kind of confused as to why, but I think it's because I was so used to looking and feeling a certain way. So when my body did actually start changing, it was a mess. Like, I did not know what to do. My clothes started ripping. As much as I was happy, like, I was like starting to, like, you know, like develop like a woman's body and like get curvier in certain places, I still felt a little insecure because I didn't want people like looking at me like, oh shoot, Joyce's body's changing. Like, look at that. Yo, she's kind of getting bigger, or she's kind of getting fat. Like, you know what I mean? Whether it was like a compliment, or like, oh Joyce, you look good, or like, oh Joyce, you're gaining weight. I just didn't want anybody to be talking about my body like that, and it was very strange. I'm still adjusting to that, and I'm going to be for the rest of my life, because you know, naturally, like, your body changes like as you get older and stuff. But that's one thing I hope that people can identify with. Like, my body definitely did change. You eat more or you eat less, and your body will respond to that, and it's okay. Like, that's what I didn't know. Like, it's not my fault that my body is changing. I mean, sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, whatever you put into your body, whatever you give your body, it'll respond. But I wasn't doing it with the intention to get larger, get smaller. Like, it will happen, it's natural, and it's okay. I'm still trying to tell myself that, like, that's my little mantra. And hopefully, as time goes on, I'll be a little bit more comforted in the fact that other people go through it too. Like, the women that I looked up to in school, they go through it too, and I'm not alone. So that's one particular thing that I know for sure. I know for sure people can identify with, and I hope like people start to open up about it a little bit more too. The same thing I was very insecure about when I got to school was just like talking. And when I say talking, I'm very general, but when I mean like making friends. I mean like talking to guys now that I was freshly single now or whatever. It was a tough time. Thank God I had the people who I have now, who are now considered my family. But when I was in school, I definitely wasn't trying to be friends with anybody. I was trying to be about my work. I was just ready to like go home to this boyfriend that I had. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So if I'm not doing it for that, then what am I doing it for anymore? So I really got lost in the sauce, you feel me? So the friends that I made, I really would not have if I didn't know certain people, if I didn't know where to go. So I'm very thankful to this day, because I was really afraid that people would judge me for the attitude that I kind of had before, and I really just didn't want to speak. But fortunately for me, I was able to find a really solid friend group, a really academically based friend group that was able to motivate me to actually like at least try to do well. Didn't do as well as I wanted, but I at least tried. And thank God I get to go back and actually like do it over so I can like catch up with them. Because when you have friends that hold themselves to a certain standard, you're gonna hold yourself to that standard too. Like, you know that little stupid poster with the pencils, and there's the one dull pencil, and the other pencils are sharp, and like it says surround yourself with who you want to be, and it's in your teacher's room. Like, it's laughable, but it's true. It's laughable, but it's true. And I really just thank God. Like, I count them as one of my blessings all the time. I really wouldn't know where I would be without them. Another thing that I personally was insecure about was my hair when I got to school. So I really wanted to stay natural. Like, I am natural. Like, just because I have braids in doesn't mean I'm not natural. But I wanted to leave my hair out. Like, I didn't want to wear braids. I didn't want to wear twists. I wanted my hair to be free. And my hair's really short. And it's healthier now, but it wasn't as healthy then. And that was a struggle. So I had to go around with this little fro. And, like, I don't really know a lot of people, so I look like a little boy. And I'm trying to meet people, and I'm trying to make friends. And I'm thinking, wow, everybody here thinks I'm a 12-year-old guy in college. And it was a tough time. I really tried to stick it out, but then I hid under my braids and my extensions again. because I thought too much of what people think. I thought they would think I was boyish, or I looked ugly, or they didn't like my hair. And honestly, what I should have been looking out for was the health and the growth of my hair, instead of thinking that people will look at me and think whatever they want to think. That is something I still struggle with now. As you can see, my hair's in braids right now. And honestly, natural hair is its own video, like stigmas and all of that. But when I got to school and my natural hair wasn't flourishing, and I saw everybody else's natural hair flourishing, I wanted to hide. And that's another important thing. Like, when you're insecure and you're not very sure of yourself, you will compare yourself to other people, and you will think, oh, how come I don't look like them? Or how come they don't look like me? Like, what am I doing wrong? And it's not very healthy. It's not a very good practice at all, because it'll make you think that you are either more than, you get all arrogant and stuff, or you're less than, and you will be insecure, which is something that you want to avoid, especially when you're going somewhere where you're not sure exactly what you're running into. And I still do that all the time. I'm always comparing myself to people, because I'm still learning how to be comfortable in my own skin, and I'm still learning how to be sure of myself. And that's something my mom is always telling me, like, Joyce, you're not sure of yourself. Like, I wish you were more, like, confident in yourself. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Like, I'm confident in myself, Mom. Like, I don't care what other people think. I can do whatever I want. No. No. I haven't even scratched the surface of what it's like to be comfortable in your own skin. Something that I'm always repeating to myself is, I may not necessarily look as good as them, whatever that means, but I'm still adequate. The end goal is not to be like, oh, I don't look as good as them, but I'm still okay. It's to be, I am good no matter what. I'm adequate no matter what. They look this way, I look this way. Or they do this and I do this. And both are acceptable. That's the end goal. Mommy! Do you want to say hi? Anyways, that's all I have to say, but I just want to wrap up with the fact that a lot of what I was saying was about teaching, and I kept saying I'm still learning, and I kept saying I'm in the process of, because everything is a process, especially this insecurity thing. It's always a process. One hopes that they will get there, where they're just like 100% comfortable in their skin. And I truly don't think anyone will ever get there. I personally think we will always have our little pitfalls, and we will always feel a little bit less than sometimes, but the kicker is always just to pick yourself back up. It's always a learning process. We're human, so we will like mess up, but if you can just pick yourself back up, it'll always be okay. Always, 100% guaranteed. That's all I have to say for today. Thank you for watching. I have other videos that I would love for you to watch, or you can subscribe, I'd love that too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.